Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we are talking about the Sand Devil again, and how we can farm the Sand Devil with a free-to-play friendly-ish champion, because it's a previous fusion. Now, you probably already know who I'm talking about, because you saw him on the thumbnail, and that is Walking Tob Dreng. He was a recent fusion, so many of you probably have him. You might have him tied up in other areas, but he is another champion that we're going to take a look at that can solo farm the Sand Devil with food. So let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, so first and foremost, let's go over here. Let's talk about where we're going to farm the Sand Devil. Now, Walking Tob Dreng is a spirit affinity champion, so he's probably not best for stage 15. Ever since I did my video on Sethalia soloing stage 15 with food, which of course I will leave in a pinned comment up above there if you want to go take a look at that video, where we have Sethalia solo farming stage 15. But since he is spirit affinity already, just to be on the safe side, we don't want to go neutral affinity with him. We're looking to make sure that he is negative affinity to the boss, which means his ideal stage is going to be stage 14, which, if you remember correctly, back to our chart, let me see if I can bring it up here for you guys. Okay, so if you take a look at our chart, if you remember correctly, let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit. Scroll up. Okay. Oh, I'm in the way now. Hold on. Let me hide myself real quick. So we were farming stage 15 with Sethalia, right? So we were getting 0.79 lessers per energy spent and 0.32 greaters per energy spent. So we're going to go back to stage 14 on this one, where we're going to get 0.79 still, a little bit less on the greater, but much more free to play friendly champion to use. More people are going to have Walking Tob Dreng, and the build isn't too crazy at all either. And I'm actually doing this again unbooked. Now, books are definitely going to help speed up the run, but here, let me hop into this real quick. First and foremost, we are going to use a preset for this, because we're going to turn off Walking Tob Dreng's A3, because it doesn't really do us any good. And then we're just going to throw food in with him. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to use 1-star food champions, because you're only going to get like a couple runs, and then you're going to have to swap the food out again. So you'd want to do this with probably 3, 4, or 5-star food, ideally, to get the biggest bang for your buck, right? So if we just go in here and let him go to work. Now, right now, the run is taking a little bit longer than I'd like it to be. Again, partly because I have him unbooked right now. So if I were to book him out, his HP burn goes to 100%. Right now, it's only 75%. I did take the sniper mastery to put it at 80%, but his HP burn is not 100% right now unbooked. The other thing is, obviously, just like with any other champion, if we were to go ahead and get a blessing on him, so if we could get one of the blessings, that would make this faster as well. Ideally, Brimstone, even though Smite isn't going to land a lot, the reason is that you don't want one of the blessings that does extra hits. Like, you don't want to use Phantom Touch on this. You don't want to use Crushing Rend. You don't want to use any of those other blessings, because unfortunately they all count as a hit, which means that you're going to wake up this guy much faster. And the key to being able to do this the way I am, because inherently Walking Tob Dreng has no built-in healing. He's not like Sethalia, who can heal herself. So we're getting all of his healing from his gear sets on this, right? Now, because of that, we have to be able to go pretty fast, and we need to take more turns while this guy is asleep. So if we are using blessings that count as us hitting him, he's going to wake up faster, which means that we won't get as many turns in. So as you can see, as I'm running up here, when he's asleep, right? So he's going to go to sleep. So you can see that my gear set is replacing that destroyed enemy max HP that he's done to me in this while he's asleep. But if I have a blessing on there where it's counting as me hitting him, that won't be the case. So you put like a Phantom Touch on there or something, you're going to end up making it worse for yourself, okay? Now, because he also doesn't have his own healing built in, unlike Sethalia, we're going to have to put some resistance on this champion. With Sathalia, it's not as big a deal because even if the fight goes on super long, it makes no difference because even if she ends up with slow on her or something like that, it's no big deal. With him, because you need to heal through the gear sets, you're going to need to put some resistance on him, but it's actually much easier with him because his HP burn on his A2 is irresistible, which means that we don't have to build him with any accuracy at all to do this. So his HP burn is landing just by itself, 100%. Again, if he was booked all the way, which a lot of you might have him booked because you're using him in other places, then this is great. As you can see, even when I go in and the HP burn does land when he's asleep, a lot of times it's actually missing. Like they're completely missed, but it's missing. Now, right now, the runs are taking about 5 minutes. You could speed that up, obviously, with the blessing on there. I wouldn't go slower than the speed that we have him at right now because, again, the slower you make him, the less chance you're going to have of him getting that healing in. You can see that he's keeping his HP pretty stacked just off of his gear set. So on this, we have his A3 turned off because it's not going to really do us any good. We want to get as many shots as we can to land his HP burn because that's where all of his damage is going to be coming from against this boss. Don't have War Master on this guy when we go over and look at his masteries, again, for the exact same reason. When I first built him, I had War Master on him, and I ended up taking it off because what would happen is I would get so many hits in because War Master was counting it as an extra hit, which I don't think it's supposed to. If you look at the description for War Master, it specifically says it doesn't count as an extra hit, and it doesn't count on any other boss in the game anywhere. So why it counts as an extra hit on this guy, I have no idea, but it does nonetheless. So you can see we're making decent work of this guy, even though like we're out of sync a little bit and our HP burn isn't always landing, but we are managing to keep that destroyed enemy max HP up without a problem. We're surviving the wipes fairly easily with this. I don't have, when we go out and look at his gear, you'll see we don't have God tier gear on. Right there, you could see my HP burn completely missed. He was asleep. The HP burn went off and completely missed him. Again, right now it's only 80%. So if you have him booked out and you can get this to 100%, I'm pretty confident you can get this down to about 3 minutes with food. Now, does that mean it's a speed farm? Absolutely not. But is this good for like overnight if you want to like food farm, throw some food in with him, do a couple runs, burn off a couple hundred energy or something like that? Yes, absolutely. This is what you call efficiency. Just like with the Sathalia setup, it's more about efficiency than it is speed. This is not a speed farming comp. This is about how efficient can we be with the resources that we have. You know, when they added this dungeon in, they added in a need for us to use a lot more energy every day, but didn't give us any more energy. So you have to try to figure out how can you use this more efficiently. So if I can do champ training at the same time that I am farming oil pots, then that's all the better it is for me at the end of the day. So you can see we're wrapping this up now. This looks like it's going to go... This is going to go a little bit long, 5.5 minutes or so. So not too terrible, but as you can see, Walking Tob Dreng did solo this by himself. We did put the food champions in there. It is going to be important that we put the food champions in, and that's going to be because when we look at his masteries, you'll see why. So if we go out here and we take a look at his build right now, oops, not faction, recently used, and we bring up Walking Tob Dreng, you can see that we have him in a regen and an immortal set. Now, this is going to be pretty important that you put him in both. With the Sathalia build, we only had her in regen. I don't think you're going to get enough healing to regenerate the destroyed enemy max HP if you don't have the extra healing from the immortal set on this one. So I definitely think that's pretty important. You can see the stats here. We'll take a look at them real quick. On him right now, I do have 80,000 HP, 3,300 defense. I have him at 250 speed. And the only other thing that matters is that resistance, right? So if we go over and we take a look at how much resistance we need to be above 405 resistance to make sure that we're able to resist as many of those slow speeds that he's putting out as possible. You, of course, do have that 3% chance that he's going to land them anyway, but nonetheless, you want to try to resist those as much as possible. The 250 speed, I felt, was kind of like the sweet spot. We're actually going to get in some extra speed because the food dies as well. And then I also tried this with slightly slower HP, and it failed at about 78,000. So I'm guessing the sweet spot is probably about 80,000 HP on this guy. So not too crazy. When we go over and take a look at his masteries, the way I went with his masteries, I went down the support tree Of course, you don't need accuracy on this guy, but I wanted as much healing as possible and as much HP as possible. So I did take Steadfast for the 800. We took the Lay on Hands and the Healing Savior so that we get that HP regen with those sets. We did want to increase his turn meter as much as possible, so we have turn meter. Here we have the extra speed for every dead ally, so we're getting 24 speed there. I did take the Sniper Mastery because I had no choice due to the fact that I don't have him booked on this account. So, you know, basically that's where we're at there. And then all the way down here on the bottom, I did end up taking the Elixir of Life for the 3000 HP. Again, like I said earlier, I tried to do it without that, and that's the same point at which I took War Master off. So you'll see that I went down the offense tree here as well. I did that because I wanted to take a couple damage things here. We've got the increased damage with the 50% HP or less. And then, oops, we also have the Life Drinker here. Heals for 5% of damage inflicted when going with 50% or less. So I wanted the extra healing. I mean, there could be an argument for going down the defense tree maybe here and without that, since you're not really getting to War Master here. But that's basically where we're at. As you can see, like I said, I don't have any books into him, no blessing or anything like that. It's literally just that with the regen and immortal. So yet another champion that you can use to help farm the Sand Devils, Necropolis, and get yourself some of those oil potions so you can ascend your gear sets and get some better stats on them to make it easier in the long run. But guys, that's about all I have for today. I did want to just bring this to you real quick. Yet another solo strat. I have some other ones that I think that will work as well. So keep your eyes peeled for those. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so that when I do bring those out that you're ready to get them in case you don't have a Walking Tob Dreng or a Sethalia. Man, I can't say Sethalia to save my life, huh? But make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and of course, as always, until next time, be good.